One of my favorite dishes is pork carnitas. It makes a great keto meal prep meat because you cook it in the crock pot. And it yields a lot of meat that can be used for salads and burritos and even pizza. So today I'm going to show you how I cook my carnitas and give you 3 easy keto meals you can make using pork carnitas. So to make pork carnitas, obviously you need pork. And the type that I use is a pork shoulder. This is a bone-in one. You typically want about 3 pounds worth. Mine was about 4.5, and that's okay if we have a little extra. We're also going to use a chopped up onion and then some herbs and spices like oregano, bay leaf, cayenne pepper, red pepper flakes, whole cloves, and some cumin. And back to that pork shoulder, we're going to take it out and just put it right into our crock pot. The great thing about this recipe, it's super easy. You don't need any sort of liquid. It's going to be nice and moist on its own just from the fats within the meat. So to that pork roast, we're going to add in some salt and then some red pepper flakes and then oregano, cumin, and some cayenne pepper, some whole cloves, just sprinkle a little bit on top, and then a couple of bay leaves, and then we'll throw in our onion and minced garlic. And I'll have the full recipe linked below in the description box for you as well. Cover it up, and then we're gonna cook it for 8 hours on low. And then once the meat is done, we're gonna just pull out that bone, get all the meat off of it and discard it. And then now we shred it. So you have an option here of using forks and just shredding it using 2 forks. It does shred it really nicely. It kind of takes a little while to do, but definitely easy to do. What I like to use is get out my Wolverine shredders here and shred the pork this way and just kind of work it, shredding it apart. My bowl was way too small for this, but it got the job done. As you can see, it's nice and shredded. So now on to our first recipe. This is the Carnitas Salad. Super easy. I have some iceberg lettuce, and I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of romaine lettuce blend on that as well too. And then for a little bit of crunch, I love coleslaw mixed in my salads too. And then add some chopped up tomatoes, not too much because they're higher on the carb count, and some cucumber in there too, and some radishes that were fresh from my garden. Also, we got avocado on there, and then just sprinkle the carnitas in there and top it all with ranch or your favorite keto dressing and mix that all together. And you're set. Delicious, easy salad for lunch or dinner. Up next is Carnitas Burrito, and I like to use my coconut wraps that I get there by Nuco, and you can get them off of Thrive Market. I'll leave the link below on where you can get them. They're great because they're only 6 total carbs, and it's 4 net carbs per wrap. So just lay one down and then top it with the carnitas. And then you can really top it with whatever you like. I like a little bit of crunch in it, so I add some coleslaw, but you could use grilled onions and bell peppers as well too. So we're adding a little bit of avocado to there, and then some crumbled cheese too. And then just roll it up. And guess what? You're done. Super easy, right? Great for lunch, little dinner on the go. Super simple, you guys. And lastly, I'm going to show you how to make Carnitas Pizza. This is a barbecue pizza. Very delicious, very easy to make. What you want to do is just follow your favorite fathead dough recipe. I use one where you take 10 ounces of mozzarella cheese and microwave it in the microwave until it's all melted. And then in a separate bowl, you measure out 5 ounces of almond flour and then add in a teaspoon of baking powder and whisk that all together. Yeah, really any recipe will work here for fathead dough. Back to this recipe though, after it's all melted, the cheese is melted, we're going to crack open an egg, add that to there. That will help the dough kind of rise a little bit and help everything stick together too. And then with that egg, we're just gonna blend that all together using a mixer. You can also use your spoon too, will work. Might just take a little bit longer. I like using the mixer just because it ensures that it's all incorporated nicely. And then we just add in our dry ingredients into the mixture here and keep beating until it's all combined. And then next I just kind of work it into a ball just to make sure everything is melded together nicely. And then put it on a piece of parchment paper and push it down with your hands. And then you're just going to put another piece of parchment paper on top of that because it just makes it easier to roll out with the rolling pin, so it's not sticking to the rolling pin. And then you just roll it out into a large circle until it's probably about 1/4 of an inch thick. Then we just transfer it to a baking tray and then puncture it a bunch of times with a fork just so that it doesn't bubble up when it's baking. And then we bake it in the oven for about 10 minutes or so until it's done. And this is optional. I like to flip my crust over and then put the toppings down on that. You don't have to though. It just makes for a little bit crispier of a crust. So what I have here is 2 teaspoons of ranch mixed with a teaspoon of sugar-free barbecue sauce. And then you just want to brush that on your pizza and then top it with some mozzarella cheese. Sprinkle that evenly all over. And then we're going to put down the carnitas. You can use whatever toppings you want. I used carnitas, of course, some bacon and some red onion slices, jalapeno, and then top that with green onion and of course a little bit of cheese on top too. And then back in the oven, bake it for another 8 minutes or so until the cheese is nice and bubbly, and then it's time to cut it up and eat it. So once again, super easy. And what's great about fathead dough is that you can make it up ahead of time and keep it in your freezer, or it stays fresh a couple days in the refrigerator too. So I always have a batch of it waiting for me in my freezer for days I just really don't feel like cooking. I hope you guys found those ideas helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be featuring more easy keto dinner recipe ideas. Enjoy!